All right, joining us in studio, Matt Salmon, Barry Markson, but joining us right now on the phone, a friend of Charlie Kirk's and somebody who I know is hurting today. And Meghan, we really appreciate you making a little bit of time for us. It's Meghan McCain.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so sorry it's under these circumstances.
Yeah.
And hello to Mr. Salmon. We are friends as well, so it's nice to be on with you. Thank you.
Good to be on with you, Meghan.
Meghan, how long were you friends with Charlie Kirk, and what was, when you heard the news that he had been shot, and then the awful news that came down a few hours later that he had died from his wounds, what is going through your mind as a friend of his?
We just ran in the same circles, obviously, with conservative media and conservative figures, but I didn't become friendly with him and friends with him until an introduction by my friend Tulsi Gabbard. And I was probably, like I would say, tragically, I was supposed to go to Arizona to interview him and his wife in about 2 weeks. So makes this, even more macabre. He's a really, really wonderful person, really warm, really charming, very open to all sides of the coalition of the Republican Party, which I really always appreciated, would defend people like Susan Collins. Just this summer, I have a good friend, my friend Sarah Scarborough, that's my best friend from elementary school, from PCDS, and her son, Colton, is a really amazing young man. He's 16. He goes to church. He's in his football team. He has really good grades. He's just a really stand-up 16-year-old. And I said, how in this era do you have 15, excuse me, how in this era have you raised this amazing kid? And she goes, well, it's, obviously our parenting, but honestly, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point has been a huge influence on him in so many ways. And I was so moved by it that I contacted Charlie, told him the story, and he sent Colton this giant box of hats and Turning Point paraphernalia and a handwritten note that was signed, the signed hat, and just obviously made Colton's entire life. And he's so excited about it, and really made videos on his social media, all this stuff, and just really went out of his way. And that's the kind of person he was, just really grateful for any support anywhere. And in an era when there's a lot of, conservative commentators who can be very extreme and ugly and mean, he was the opposite. And I think that's one of the real tragedies of this as well. And I just totally heartbroken for him and totally heartbroken for his wife, Erica, and their children.
Meghan McCain joins us on the War Room. Meghan, I was going to ask you, you're on social media, and I know you felt the backlash of angry people who say awful things about you and your family. I know you've experienced that before. And I was going to ask you two questions. One is, do you think after this, is this an opportunity maybe to dial that back a little bit, to maybe say to both sides, hey, let's not go after each other this personally. We can disagree, we can yell, but let's not make it this personal, this violent. And two, and I don't mean to be too macabre, but have you and your family, have you ever felt in danger? Have you felt like this is something that you risked as a more high-profile person?
For your first question, I was really hoping that Trump's assassination attempt would be the end of this. As that was a horrific experience, obviously, for the entire country, and I thought that was a dial-down turning moment. So I certainly hope so, but I was even hesitant to come on this show because I've been so emotional and charged all day. And I thought, there's this commentator, Matt Dowd, and just on a personal level, he's truly one of the worst people I've ever worked with. I worked with him at ABC News, and he's just a despicable human being. And he said some disgusting thing. He basically said on ABC they had to come out. I'm sorry, he said on MSNBC he had to come and apologize because he said that Charlie Kirk basically deserved to be shot because of the things he said. And it's he just died. This man was just assassinated. So, I know in my content and my behavior, I try and be as elevated as possible, but he should be fired. It's an unacceptable dialogue. It's amping up energy. Yeah. On a personal note, I don't do college campuses anymore. When I get booked for speaking engagements, I just don't really do it anymore unless it's a very, very conservative college, because I just find it to be, I wouldn't say violent, but just all the things you guys have already seen is just very intolerant of conservative people.
But Meghan, can I just say this? Are you? I want to get back to something Barry said, because you are high profile. You put yourself out there. People recognize you.
Sort of.
Well,
Charlie Kirk is a global figure. There's no comparison. No.
Fair, but in the world of politics, how about, we're going to bring it down to that. Are you ever concerned for your own safety?
Yeah, but I also am not going to live in fear, and I'm not going to I think that's what people want. I think they want you to be too scared to speak out, and they want you to be too scared to talk, and I'm not going to live like that. And, and also I think this is a very extreme situation, and I really hope it's just a one-off. But I'm more fear for like my friends in my life that are much more higher profile. That's who I really. I mean, I'm a lot more worried today than I was, yesterday. But I just can't live in fear. And for whatever it's worth, my dad never had. I mean, he was the worst. He never had security. He never cared. He was nothing's ever going to happen to me. And I
interviewed your dad 75 times, and he would come in by himself and always with one staffer, and the staffer was always like a 22-year-old, 5 foot nothing, 85 pounds, no security at all.
No, the staffer winded because McCain would run right up the stairs.
Let's get Matt. He hated it. He really would never do it. So
Let me get Matt Salmon in here. Meghan McCain is joining us.
Yeah.
I remember, when I first ran for Congress, I was in the state Senate. I was I was probably, if not the most conservative guy, one of them. And when I ran for Congress, John McCain came out and endorsed me in a several-way primary. I was the only pro-life guy in the whole race.
Wow.
And a lot of people believed at that time Sam Coppersmith won the race because he was pro-choice. And the district had changed a lot on that issue. It changed immensely. And John courageously came out and said, I know one of my opponents came in and kind of was criticizing him for endorsing me. And John unapologetically, as he was very wanted to do, said, I'm going to stand up for life no matter what you say. And he was somebody that I love very, very much. And I remember when some of the idiots in the so-called conservative side were trying to submarine him when he was running for president. I was the chairman of the party, and I went in and basically kind of slap people around
There
a
you
little
go.
bit.
There you go.
Thank you.
But the fact the fact is, he and I both served during the time that Bill Clinton was impeached, and I voted on every article of impeachment for Bill Clinton, and I know that John McCain voted to impeach him as well on the Senate side. It was ultimately not successful, but I had a rash of death threats at that time. In fact, I remember one of them was put on the line with me, and they said, "You have 4 kids, right?" And I said,
Whoa.
"Yeah."
Wow.
And they said, "I hope you all die in a fiery crash." It was negative then, but
horrific.
Let me ask Meghan real quick because we're running out of time. Meghan, can Donald Trump bring the temperature down in this country? Do you think that is something that he I think he has to do it. I don't think he can do it or wants to do it. What do you think?
I hope so. I am honestly so emotionally numb right now. It's hard for me to give you a good assessment because honestly, this is pretty unfathomable. I mean, I don't want to offend or upset any of your listeners, but there's some very graphic videos on social media that I just saw on accident, and it's hard to even think about. I really hope so. I hope the president could implore people, but just anecdotally in my life, people are very angry. People are very upset and very angry, and I hope they don't channel that anger into anything except, productivity in a positive way. But I hope so. But I feel, Gaydos, you've known me a really long time. This is really one of the worst. This is one of the worst, top 10 worst experiences of my life, easily. Yeah. And I was hugging my husband tonight, and I was like, why is this so painful? Other than obviously we were friends, but it's generational. He was really the future in a lot of ways. And I can't express to you, there's some people in the party that really treat me like I'm just this rhino freak that hates Trump and all this stuff. And he was so warm and welcoming. And that is not always the case. And I think he saw that the pathway forward is a big tent party and is a huge coalition. And I don't think he's replaceable. Yeah. I just don't think he's a figure that's replaceable. So it leaves this giant void, not only emotionally, but politically as well. And to have him die in such a fashion is just, it's, I think this is really a paradigm history making moment and obviously the worst of circumstances.
Gaydos, I just wanted to comment, Ronald Reagan was shot.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Remember how he handled everything. And he was able to really dial back. I mean, he could have gone out and, just
Been the tough guy cowboy?
been the tough guy cowboy. He could have gone out and vilified, the other side of the political aisle. Hey, it wouldn't happen if you guys hadn't done X, Y, or Z. But Ronald Reagan was a master at being an optimist and getting people united. And I think not just for the president of the country, I think all of our leaders, like Steve Scalise did today, I think they need to stand in unison like they did, on
After
9/11
yeah.
on the steps.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Megan, thank you again for your time. I know it's a difficult day for you, and we really thank you
you.
for making a little bit of time for
Thanks,
us.
Megan.
Thank you. And it's nice to hear your voice, Congressman. I hope I see you soon. And thank you all so much for always being so kind to me on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry. It's just I don't care who you are. It's a really awful day for the country.
Yeah. Don't need to apologize. That's Meghan McCain, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Just real quick, what she said. It doesn't matter if you liked Charlie Kirk or you thought he was the worst.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. What happened today is so disgusting. To rip somebody away from his little boy and his little girl. I didn't like some of the stuff Charlie Kirk said, guys. I'll be the first to say it. There's no question about it. But, for a guy who went out there and said, here's what I believe, here's what I feel, let's have a conversation. Okay. Why is that a bad thing? It's not.
It's kind of like it's kind of like what happened with the CEO of United Healthcare and all these people that were celebrating the fact that he was killed and making the guy that killed him a hero.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.